6 mistakes natural lifters make that are impacting your results in the gym and not giving you the best results that you can have. Alright, let's jump straight into it. Mistake number 1, not prioritizing your pre and post workout meal. Guys, it's very important that you understand that your pre and post workout meal are the most important meals of the day. Alright, you gotta make sure that you're fueling your body before that session and also regenerating everything that you've lost through that session. Our performance at the gym has to always be the top one priority, and overlooking those meals will impact your performance at the gym. Take for instance someone eating the same amount of calories, two people, let's say eating 2500 calories, one of them is training on an empty stomach fasted and the other person is making sure that they're having a good amount of carbs, protein, fueling their body before their session. Which one will have a better performance at the gym? It's pretty obvious, guys, alright? Even if your goal is getting shredded, you gotta make sure that the performance and lifting at the gym is always the top one priority, alright? So number 1, don't neglect and don't overlook the pre and post workout meal. Now you might ask, what would those meals look like? Well, a pre-workout meal, I always like to keep my fat intake low, alright? I keep my carbs, easy to digest sources of carbs such as white rice, cream of rice, that could be sourdough bread, alongside a protein source that is very easy to digest, like a whey protein. For me, it looks like cream of rice plus whey protein, alright? It could be white rice and some chicken. It could be sourdough bread and Greek yogurt, for example. Just giving you a few examples. The post-workout meal, pretty much the same thing. You don't want a lot of fats because fats will slow down digestion, but you want something that will get absorbed and your body can use right away. So easy to digest sorts of carbs, white rice, sourdough bread, it could be rice cakes, it could be bananas. You want to avoid things that have a lot of fiber in their carbs. For example, oatmeal or brown rice. It does have a lot more fiber. The glycemic index is lower, takes a bit longer to digest and get absorbed by the body. So sources of carbs that are easy to digest and an easy to digest protein source, all right? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, you're taking the bulk too far. All right, I see it all the time, especially with natural lifters, just because we have the idea of as naturals, we're not gonna build muscles at the same rate as someone that is enhanced. It's true, but then people use that excuse to start over bulking and bulking too much and force feeding and giving themselves junk food and cakes, just hiding behind the excuse of I'm just in a bulk and I have to put weight on and I'm natural and I have to. No, if you're taking the bulk too far, you're above 18% body fat, now your hormones will start getting impacted and you'll have a lot more drawbacks than a positive outcome, alright? So don't take the bulk too far, don't overdo it, alright? Because then your testosterone level will start being converted to estrogen. You won't be building muscles at the same rate, you will just be putting fat on and not muscle on. And also it will take you a lot longer to cut down that fat that you're losing, that fat that you're gaining, and chances of you losing muscle mass in that extreme deficit that you will have to go through will be high. Alright, so don't take the bulk too far and don't bulk for too long. Alright, when you're bulking, even if you're at a reasonable body fat percentage, it's good to do mini cuts. Alright, just to get your body kind of what we call insulin sensitive, but basically to get your body hungry again for those calories and that your body can actually absorb and use those calories better. All right, so mini cuts are good in a bulk and don't take the bulk too far. Mistake number 3, I see a lot of people avoiding and fearing compound lifts. All right, the bench press, the squat, the deadlift, the barbell rows, the deadlifts, I just said it, the overhead press. Guys, bodies in the golden eras were built with those exercises. All right, but a lot of time we see people fearing the compound lifts and running away from them. And we can find studies that will tell us whatever we want. I can find you a study telling you that the bench press is good. I can find a study telling you that the bench press is the worst exercise you can do. All right, but in reality, time have shown that those exercises not only work many muscles at the same time, but also will impact your hormonal system very well, all right? Your testosterone levels, your growth hormone, and when you're natural, you want to make sure that you're using those tools. All right, so doing a bench press will also stress your body positively. Your central nervous system will be well stressed. All right, it's a positive stress that you're putting on your central nervous system by doing a barbell squat that you're not getting from doing a leg extension, even if in both cases you're taking your quads to failure. All right, so don't run away from the compound lifts. Of course, you gotta combine them with isolations, but just doing isolation as a natural is not gonna benefit you too much. All right, so that's number 4. That was mistake number 3. Mistake number 4 is you're trying to be too lean. When you're trying to be too lean and you're chasing the summer body all year long, it's called summer body for a reason, and you're chasing the 6-pack so you can have the best Instagram pictures, well, what will happen is that you'll be in a deficit, of course, because you're trying to get shredded, and you're not gonna be able to build muscles in a deficit. The only people that can build muscles in a deficit are very beginners, people, super beginners, so someone that just started training, or someone that is super overweight, and a beginner too. But if you're someone that has fairly any experience in the gym, it's been training for a while, in a deficit, you will not be building muscle mass. It will be almost impossible and super hard for you, and just not the best case scenario. All right, so when you're chasing that 6-pack look and chasing to have that summer body all year long and trying to be super shredded, well, you gotta understand that you're impacting your muscle gains and you're not going for the optimal results. All right, I believe in cycles. Bulking is good, but bulking has been taken too far, and people think that bulking means eating junk food and just going above 20% body fat and eating everything under the sun and going for a 10,000 calorie donut cookies challenge. That's not what bulking is. All right, bulking is being in a reasonable surplus. I would say 10% of your maintenance in a surplus. Let's say 2,500 calories is your maintenance, where 250 calorie to 350 calorie as a surplus is actually pretty good. And the slower you bulk, the better results you'll get, and the less you will be adding fat. And then you can pull back easily. All right, so when you're bulking, it's good to have cycles, but also when you're bulking, don't take it too far. Go for maximum 500 surplus, and then slowly, gradually see how you feel. Look in the mirror, and then adjust from there. All right, so the number 4 was don't try to be super lean, and make sure that you're cycling your bulks and cuts. Don't just be in one period all year long, so you'll have better result that way. Number 5 is you're overlooking recovery and things that are super basic, like sleep, stress, nutrition, hygiene. It's very important. Your sleep hygiene is very important. It's very important that you don't overlook your recovery. It's very important that you understand, if you work in construction all day and you're doing 2 hours of cardio and you're training 6 days a week for 2 hours in the gym, well, at a certain point, your body will be overtaxed, all right, overstressed. If you're having a very stressful job, well, you want to make sure that you're kind of managing that stress in the best way possible. And it's a boring topic. Everybody knows that sleep is important, but nobody want to really take that into consideration and actually prioritize their sleep. But guys, don't overlook those things. Someone that is enhanced can sleep 3 hours, party all night, go to the gym, get the best pump ever on an empty stomach. I've seen it. I've trained with bodybuilders that were doing the craziest things outside of the gym and still perform like beasts in the gym. For me, that is natural. There's no way. If I slept 1 hour less, I'll feel it in my whole day. If I didn't have the best pre-workout and post-workout meal, I feel it my whole day. All right, so guys, don't overlook those things and make sure that you're following a schedule and you're not falling off that schedule, because the lifting part is just a small percentage of what really goes behind the scenes. All right, my life is really regimented to a point that I wake up at the same time, I sleep at the same time, I eat at the same time, I do every single thing at the same time. But that's what bodybuilding is, especially when you're natural. You just can't get away with much. You can't. That's just the sport. I would love to tell you, you know what, I eat McDonald's and I sleep 2 hours and I train anytime I want. That's not the case. I have to work out the same time every single day, because that's where my body can be the most optimal. All right, that could actually be another tip. Make sure you follow a schedule and make sure that you're in a routine. Guys, there's power in being in a routine, and it will give you, it will give you freedom. It will give you freedom. Discipline is freedom. let's talk about the last tip, which is number 6. It's you're overlooking some supplements that can be very beneficial. Creatine. I believe creatine is a super supplement. Very important to have, whether you're cutting or bulking. Your omega-3s, for example. Magnesium. Vitamin D, if you're not getting enough sun exposure. Now I'm in Canada, and let me tell you, I'm getting depressed without seeing any sun. But hey, that's where I'm taking vitamin D. Alright? Yes, there's a lot of useless supplements, but things like creatine, EAAs can be beneficial, electrolytes can be beneficial, your vitamins and minerals can be beneficial, like magnesium, potassium if you're not getting any from food, and omega-3, vitamin D. That's pretty much it. So guys, and salt. I'm a big fan of salt. I didn't talk about it, but make sure that you're salting your food properly. And that's pretty much it for this video, guys. You know, just giving you guys some few mistakes that a lot of people make. If that was beneficial in any sort, please consider liking, subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.